While some would argue that the changes to the latest Acura ILX are subtle in nature, the reality is they help deliver a more credible near-luxury sedan. Yes, it's based on the Honda Civic, but as before, this is not such a bad thing, as there is enough separation between the models to make a meaningful difference, especially when the ILX is in A-spec guise. Among other things, it's the body kit, headlight treatment, and rear spoiler that serve to set it apart and give it some real road presence. The cabin is very nicely attired, although some of the materials are modest in nature given the A-spec station in the lineup. That stated, it's chock full of gizmos and gadgets. The list includes everything from an advanced audio system with 10 well-placed speakers to a navigation system with voice recognition. One of the interesting items proved to be the lane keep assist system. Set the cruise, which maintains speed and a set distance behind the car ahead, and the ILX searches for the line markings. When it finds them, it actively steers the car to keep it in the lane. What you have here is a semi-autonomous car. It accelerates, brakes, and steers all by itself. For now, if the driver lets go of the steering wheel for a short period, the system gets annoyed and flashes a warning telling the driver to get a grip, but the autonomous age is well on its way. As for the rest of it, the front seats are supportive, the correct driving position is readily established, and the ILX has clean sight lines in all directions, while the rear view camera counters the higher decklid the rear spoiler brings. Finally, if you have a button fetish, this is your car. Aside from the buttons on the center stack, and there are plenty, there are no fewer than 18 different controls on the steering wheel if you include the transmission's paddle shifters. While it struck me as being cluttered, I'm sure many will appreciate the proximity of the functions. The rear environment is surprisingly spacious for a compact car. There's enough head and legroom to accommodate a pair of taller riders. The center rear seat is domed, but the lack of a central tunnel intrusion means it works for a third rider should the need arise. Behind that sits a 348-liter trunk. The disappointment is the fact the opening is on the small side, and the one-piece seat back does not fold flush to the floor, which limits its usefulness. One of the bigger changes is found in the powertrain. The 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine twists out 201 horsepower and 180 pound-foot of torque, and it does so in a silky fashion that never gets noisy in spite of the fact the meat of the power band is found at the upper end of the rev range. In other words, it is exactly what's expected of a free-revving Honda engine. The engine is now teamed with an 8-speed twin-clutch transmission. Now, make no mistake, I loved the gearbox and the fact it shifts smoothly and quickly. However, I would like a normal mode. As it stands, drive mode forces early shifts to the point where you are in 6th gear by the time you reach 60 km per hour. This makes it more of an economy mode as it promotes fuel efficiency. Sport functions as expected, but it tended to hold its gears too long in a city environment. Here, a setting that balances the best of the other two modes would be perfect. Hold the gears a little longer without forcing the engine too far up the rev range. It is a very small issue, but one I would love to see corrected. Regardless, the powertrain combination proved to be rewardingly fast. The A-spec runs from rest to 100 km per hour in 7.4 seconds and turns the 80 to 120 km per hour passing move in 4.8 seconds. The latter speaks to the engine's work ethic in the mid and upper ranges. The plus was found in the fuel economy, a test average of 8.7 L/100 km. That surprised me, given the level of performance and the driving gusto during the test.